ولا تخزني يوم يبعثون يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم.
When was the last time you got your heart checked? Our heart is capable of beating about 100,000 times and pumps 2 gallons of blood per minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for an entire lifetime. As we all know, the heart is an important part of our physical survival and even more important for our spiritual survival. The main purpose of our heart is to know and understand the truth. Hence, it's important that we take the time to learn, reflect, and improve the condition of our heart. The Prophet ﷺ said in his hadith, "In the body there is a lump of flesh, and if that lump of flesh is set right, then the entire body is set right. And if that lump of flesh is corrupted, then the entire body is corrupted. And verily, it is the heart." Our hearts are of 3 types: healthy or sound heart, dead heart, and sick heart. The ideal heart we should all strive to attain is a sound heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the live heart in the Quran in chapter 26 verse 88 to 89. A live and sound heart is a key to success in the hereafter, the day on which neither wealth nor sons will be of any use, except for whoever brings to Allah a sound heart. Having a live heart is an essential key for the hereafter. It will be the means in which one will enter Jannah and earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a heart that worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all his thoughts, speech, and actions. This heart loves and hates for Allah's sake. When it gives for Allah, and withholds himself from any sin, it withholds for Allah. Another type of heart that we could have is a dead heart. This is completely opposite to a healthy heart. This heart clings to lusts and desires instead of worshipping Allah and His commands. Similar to a dead person, it is not affected by any reminders of Allah. Instead, hastens to follow Shaitan's path. The last type of heart is a sick heart. This heart is between life and death. It has faith in Allah, which gives it life, but is contaminated with feelings of doubt and desires. It is split between obeying Allah and the Messenger and obeying his own temptations. If we don't cure the heart soon, it may become a dead heart. Now that we know the 3 different types of hearts, take a minute and diagnose your heart and see which of the 3 types you are. If we find ourselves not fitting in the category of those with a healthy heart, this is not a good sign. As Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah said, the slave is not afflicted with a punishment greater than the hardening of the heart, and being distant from Allah, for the fire was created to melt the hardened heart. Whether we feel that we lack spirituality, or feel that our hearts are not in the ideal condition, there is hope and there are ways to purify our heart. Some ways we can attain a sound heart is to firstly realize that I need to attain a healthy heart and therefore have the niyyah. Secondly, remember Allah and do istighfar regularly. Whether you are waking up in the morning, leaving your house, or even if you're just walking to school, keep your tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured." Ibn Qayyim once said, "Truly in the heart there is a void that cannot be removed except with the company of Allah, and in there is a sadness that cannot be removed except with the happiness of knowing Allah and being true to Him." Thirdly, constantly engage yourself with the Quran, whether it is understanding, reciting, memorizing, or even just reflecting upon it every day. Quran, no doubt, is a source of nourishment for the heart and essential to stay alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the Quran, "O mankind, there has come to you an admonition from your Lord, a cure for what is in the hearts and a guide and a blessing to true believers." There is no better cure for the disease of your heart than the Quran itself. Another way to soften and purify your heart is through good deeds. Just as a famous Hadith Qudsi mentions, the slave of Allah does not come closer to Him except by doing the deeds that He has made compulsory for him, and the slave gets even closer by performing the voluntary deeds until Allah loves that person. If we have Allah's love, what more do we need? Make it a habit to always grab an opportunity to do any good for Allah's sake, and in return, attain a healthy heart. While it is important to spend time doing good deeds, it is equally or even more important to make sure that we are not committing sins at the same time. Also, we must constantly remember death. A woman came to Aisha radiallahu anha and complained about the hardness of their heart. Aisha radiallahu anha told her, "Remember death much, your heart will become tender, and you will be able to fulfill your needs. Next time you are driving by a graveyard or hear news of someone who passed away, reflect on what is benefiting them now. Nothing, except for if they had a sound heart." And most importantly, nothing softens a heart more than asking Allah to soften it. The Prophet ﷺ supplicated, "O Allah, I seek refuge in you from a heart which does not fear you, a prayer not heard, a soul which cannot be satisfied, and knowledge of no benefit." So make a checklist for yourself with all the above traits of a healthy heart, and constantly analyze and examine the condition of your heart. Some ways to maintain a healthy heart mentioned in this video were: make the intention, remember Allah throughout the day, seek His forgiveness, engage yourself with the Quran, busy yourself in doing good deeds, stay away from sins, constantly make dua. We end by making dua to Allah. O Allah, make us amongst those whose hearts are purified and cleansed, and save us from being amongst those whose hearts are sick and dead.